so what you want to do is set the I still think the expectations would be 2 to 3 per week in prime selling season, and 1 to 2 per week after it. You know, when does prime selling season get over? It's over. You know, when school starts. It really goes from April 1st to about the middle of August, doesn't it? But people are calling you and say, maybe I should wait till the springtime, you know, to put my house on the market. The script I use with them is, you know, we sell houses year round. There's not a bad time to have your home on the market. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to sell outside of the prime selling season, but what's the advantage of that? Particularly now as you guys are going into the last half of this year, okay? I think the absolute best time to have your house on the market is in the fourth quarter. And record-wise with our companies, our December closings are many times the best month of the year, the biggest sale month of the year. People want to get in before the end of the year to get the homestead exemption. They want to be able to get the tax benefits the following year. And what happens is historically, you have the self-fulfilling prophecy on the seller's part that we have to keep them from doing, and that is, well, I'll take it off. Jeremy, I'm going to take the house off the market here in October, but I'll relist with you in January or February. We'll get it back on the market then, because I just don't think it's going to sell between now and the end of the year. So Jeremy's got to decide, okay, is that acceptable? And number one, they might not relist with Jeremy because Jeremy didn't get it sold this time around, even though he's a good guy, right? So what happens is I tell them, look, the absolute best time to have your house on the market is the fourth quarter of the year, because everybody else is thinking what that seller's thinking, and they're taking their homes off the market. So do you know at the end of December we have the lowest inventory in the whole year, and probably around June we have the highest. Okay, so what does that mean? The second most popular time for people to transfer with corporations is mid-year. Okay, because they can take their kids in school halfway through the school year and put them in another school. So what happens is those guys are looking for houses in October, November, and December, wanting to get their families in, get closed, get the homestead exemption, and go right. It makes an easy transition for the kids. I have on my personal record in my 26 years in the business, not back-to-back months. In one December, I closed 10 houses. In one January, I closed 11. Well, everybody else was, and realtors fall in this trap too, guys. Let me tell you, you'll see it in every aspect of our profession, is that around Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's going to be slow, so I'm not going to go in today. It's going to be slow, so I'm not going to do what I normally do. It's going to be slow, so why bother people at the holidays calling them to see if they want to sell their house, you know? And what happens is, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and if you follow that line of thought, you are slow. So don't fall in that trap. But it's really a great time. I mean, when does a house show the best? At Christmas. You know, it's decorated nicely, you know, fire in the fireplace. It's a great time to have a house on the market. So these are some traps that you can avoid in helping your sellers, and also for yourself being able to be successful in the fourth quarter of the year. Lead generation, we talked about a lot of things. Again, being proactive. You need to be in organizations, civic organizations. You've got to pick one. I don't care what it is, pick one, okay? I've always been active on the board of directors for the YMCA for about 15 years. I've led some capital campaigns. I've led a partisan youth campaign. I was active in my church. I was going to church every Sunday, so why not be an usher? What's an usher do? He has a name tag. People come in, you greet them, right? You usher them out of the pew when they go to communion. You see all your friends. I mean, it was great. I ushered for probably 20 years at St. Martha's, and people recognized me from that. I was doing it to help at church because they needed ushers, but by the same token, and I was going to be there anyways, right? So I could sit in obscurity in some of the back pew or something, or I could be standing up, walking up, getting a collection or whatever, and helping the church out, but at the same time getting exposure. So, you know, through your church, then pick a civic organization. Obviously, we've got a lot of civic organizations, whether it's Kiwanis, whether it's the Chamber of Commerce. You know, there's lots of different clubs and organizations you can be a part of. But be active, be proactive. Probably the best organization to be involved with is your kids. I had more contacts when I had kids in school and growing up than I do now. And those are all people, whether it's neighbors, different sports teams. You can sponsor sports teams. It's not real expensive to do that. they have your name on their shirts or whatever, and you do things for people's kids, and don't we appreciate it? Somebody does something for our kids. I think it's critical on the listing side to nail the price up front. You gotta nail it. Why? Because there's a lot of competition. So there are many people that take a one-step approach in listing a house, and I never did. I always took a two-step approach because the first visit was about, and I'll do my listing presentation at Crown, and if you'd like to hear from walking up to the door to closing, all the different things that I did. But basically, I always did a two-step approach because the first appointment was to go out and see the house that I've never seen before. If I'd been there 3 or 4 years ago and sold it to them, did they wreck it, Mike? Did those kids that were wild in your car, you know, do the same thing in the house, you know? You don't know the condition of it. So you go out and look at that, share all your marketing materials with them on the first appointment, and you're doing a walkthrough, making all kinds of notes on the house, which you're not sharing with the seller. Then I go back and I tell them I'm gonna take the next 24 hours to digest all this, develop a marketing plan that's gonna be successful. And on the second appointment, I'm gonna go in and give you, you know, the high, low, and average values and where we fit in that picture. We'll talk about the pluses and or any minuses that your house has and how it affects its saleability. And then I'm gonna give you a list of suggestions that will help speed up the sale of your home and help you get the most money possible. That's not the highest price, is it? If you haven't written that down before, write it down today. I'm gonna help you get the most money possible. Came from the #1 agent in the United States back 20 years ago. Great saying. But the two-step approach, when you come back on that second appointment, you know if you're dealing with a divorce, a job loss, you know what kind of house you're dealing with, you're able to pick better comps. Agents that are thinking time management and thinking I can go out and do a one-step, you know, on a house they've never seen before, you'll blow them out of the water every time with your thoroughness. You know, and I tell them this. I don't ask if they're having another appointment. I don't ask if that person's doing a one-step. I tell them why a two-step is better. Okay, these are the most important investments we make in our lifetime. And they'll appreciate your thoroughness. And as a result, I had probably I would have to say over a 90% success rate on getting listings. And so taking that extra time, striving for the excellence of what you do, doing a better job than what 80 or 90% of people are doing in the business is how another key to growing your business.